Hey, what's up, Todd? It's Mark. I want to shoot this video for you and talk to you about agreements. So the idea of an agreement is very straightforward, and yet it's really powerful when it's executed correctly. So the idea of an agreement is simply this, is that two or more people have an agreement, a contract, if you will, that says they will do X. And they can be counted on to do X if the following conditions are present. So one of the things that I work on with managers or leaders all the time is the idea of a performance agreement. So instead of having a quota, to me, creating a performance agreement is much more powerful. So our goal is going to be X results. But our agreement is the activity that you will be engaged in to go and create the results, because the activity is what we can control. So the first thing you want to do when you create an agreement is you want to create an upgraded meeting. So this is where you go to your team member and you say, hey, there's some things that you and I want to talk about, and they're really important to us ensuring that we achieve great results, etc., etc. So at 2 o'clock, be in my office. We're going to meet for 45 minutes. Clear your calendar and be there on time. I appreciate it. And this is something you do over the phone or in person if possible, not in an email, because an email is just a breeding ground for somebody misinterpreting your tone and for things to go sideways. So no email, no text. Go create an upgraded meeting in person if you can. Have somebody meet you at their office. When you're in your office, you say, so look, there's some things that are important that I would like you to be responsible for, or that we've talked about in the past. And what occurs for me is that these things don't happen. And my objective here is to have you thrive in your role. And I'm aware that I'm not doing a great job right now helping you thrive. And so what I want to talk to you about is taking ownership of some activities that are important to the company and are important to you achieving your goals. And so what I want to do is I want to share what those activities are, and then I want to give you the opportunity to speak to them. So that when we come to the end, we will have an agreement around the activities you agree to be responsible for. So my expectations are managed so that you're doing what you need to do to thrive in your role, and it produces results for the company. So then you go and you name those activities and get clear about the results that you want to create first, right? So start with that. So the results we want to create are X. In order to create those results, these are the activities I see you being responsible for and owning in order to create those results, whether it's a production result or an organization result or a punctuality result, processing, etc., etc. Whatever the result is, there's certain activities that you, Todd, have identified that are critical to the result being achieved. So you get clear about the result. Make sure the other person sees the value in having the result. And so in order to do that, you've got to leave your agenda behind, get on their side of the wall and say, is this important to you as well? Or can you understand why this is important to me or the business? And if you understand, then are you willing to play a role in achieving that result? Okay, so you got to get their buy-in there first. Once you do that, then you say, so here are the activities that I see you being responsible for to contribute achieving the result. And once you lay out those responsibilities, then you say, now let me stop here and ask you if you see yourself being able to take responsibility for these activities. And is there anything that you need in order for those activities to be executed on that I'm not aware of? And you give them space, and like you really know you're doing your job, by giving them space, by allowing them, by having them push back on you and saying, well, no, I can't do those things, and here's why. Here's what gets in the way. And that's a question you might ask. What gets in the way of you executing consistently these activities or these responsibilities in order to achieve this result? And then you get to a point where you say, great, so you need this in order to execute that activity. Got it. You can have that. Or you can't have that, and here's why. Do you understand? And you guys get clear. And then you end the meeting by saying, so these are the things that you agree to. We're going to enter into an agreement. And then define what an agreement is. An agreement is a contract that you and I enter into that says you will be responsible for these activities. I will be responsible for these activities, or for providing you the resources you need to execute these activities consistently so that I can rely upon you. And we agree that if you don't exercise these activities, it's a problem. It's a challenge. It's something that we're going to have to address. Great. So this is something I want you to enter into thoughtfully. So here's what I'm going to do. After we meet here, I'm going to send you an email bullet pointing what it is that we agreed to. Sleep on it. Come back tomorrow and say, hey, I've thought about it and I need this, or I want to change that, or here's what doesn't work for me, or tell me, yes, I'm in, I can be responsible for these things. Once they say that, you print out your email with the things they're responsible for, and they sign it. So now there's no ambiguity, there's no gray area. They're very clear what it is that they're responsible for. And then they go off in the world and they do these things. And the moment they don't honor the agreement, you call an upgraded meeting, you pull out the signed form, and you say, hey, it looks like we've got a problem with an agreement because you're not honoring it. And now you're not jabbing at them, you're addressing an agreement, and it lowers their defensiveness. So my agreement with you, Todd, is that you go and enter into an agreement with your 2 team members. And if you have any other questions about this, feel free to write back to me, or email or call or text, and we can sort this out if you need to. But I think you get the idea. And now that you have these agreements in place, there should be very clear roles and responsibilities. And if people aren't honoring them, then you've got something really easy to speak to. All right, so listen to the audio that I sent you. Go create upgraded meetings with your 2 people. Go enter into powerful agreements with them. Have them sleep on it. Have them sign a document, and see how that works, and get back to me on it. Hope this helps.